Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today in this video, we're going to work on n8n and how to update the n8n server. This video is for all servers that are installed locally or that are self-hosted. So first of all, what is it? Self-hosted. Self-hosted simply means when you use another external server, not the official server from the n8n website. For example, in the evening, you install it on your own machine, or for instance on another hosting provider like Host & Gons, for example. To perform the update, you actually need to go through certain steps. You should know that here on the official documentation of the item, you will find it here. It always actually gives you all the latest versions, for example. Right now we're on version 2.1. It might be that by the time you watch this video, it could be, for example, 2.2 or 2.3. But the evolution of the versions is actually very, very fast. Because generally there are always updates regarding security, workflow, and the user interface. So, if you really want to keep up with these updates and do the update properly, there are a few steps to follow. So in this video, I will show you exactly how to do that. In fact, what are the steps to follow? This is a documentation that I will give it to you for free in the description. It shows you step by step with all the videos and all the codes you need to implement to get the very latest version of n8n. For example, in our case, we will be working on version 2.1.1. Here, for instance, I have a server running version 2.0.3, and I'm simply going to upgrade it to version 2.1.1. Just a very important note, if you have version 1, you can't go directly to version 2.2. You first need to update to version 2, and then afterwards you can upgrade to 2.1 or 2.2. If you don't know how to do it, I'll leave a video here that already shows you how to upgrade to version 2. Once you're on version 2, you can then move on to 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. I'll see you in a moment. Let's watch the video all the way to the end, so we can update our server in Utah. So first of all, why? Actually, I use a self-hosted setup and I'm not directly using the n-Utah server, n-Utah on the official website. Quite simply, no. There are two reasons for this. First reason here, if I use the server on n-Utah, in terms of pricing, it's actually more expensive. It's $24 per month, and on top of that, I'm limited to 5 workflows at the same time. And that's really, really little for a freelancer, let alone for a company, having only 5 workflows active on the machine. If I want to have a few more workflows, I'll have to pay a lot more. On the other hand, on the hosting a server here, I can have an unlimited number of workflows. I have no limit on the number of active workflows. And above all, in terms of pricing, it's much more attractive. Here, they offer 2 servers. There's the KVM2, which has 2 processors and 8 GB of RAM, highly recommended for freelancers. And for entrepreneurs and companies who need a much more powerful machine, 4 processors and 16 GB of RAM. That's the KVM4, which is the most interesting option today. When you get a server or hosting, you'll find the latest version, but that's not enough. You really have to update it manually. That's what we'll see in the video, and so when I make my selection, I choose a server. I'll also have a 30-day satisfaction or money-back guarantee. I can even use the go and return coupon which Hostinger has set up for beginners. So that gives, I think, about a 10% discount, which is very interesting. So here we have the server, our server. When I get access to an n8n server, this is generally the interface. This is what I have. When I got the server, I selected its workflow. Because here, if you scroll down a bit, there's the possibility to get your workflow for free. So you can select this server if you want. Now what's really interesting is updating this server. So the same server, look, it's on version 2.0. Now we're going to try to upgrade from 2.0 to the very latest version, which is 2.1.1. But the same process applies no matter which version you find here. You'll be able to follow the steps I'm about to show you now. What's really interesting is my documentation. I always keep it up to date. I'll also put it in the description of this video. So it's a description. There you go. It shows you step by step how to configure and upgrade. So that's what we're going to look at right now. So the first thing to do is to open the terminal. The terminal is simple. Here I'm on Hostinger, so I'm simply on my server, my VPS, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open the terminal here. It's that simple. That's all. I'm going to communicate with my server using commands. So right now I'm on my terminal. So here I'm simply going to type some lines of code. But, well, we're just going to copy and paste. It's very simple. So I'm coming back here to this interface. So the first thing to do is just check the version of our Docker. So here I just come and click. There you go. It tells me I'm on version 28. Next, I'm going to look for it. Actually, the Docker Compose version. So here I run it and it tells me I'm on version 2 because actually when I install actually a VPS server n8n and it works with Docker. If I look here at Docker, if you like, it's actually an execution environment and Docker. So here, for example, here I actually have 2 connectors and this is where the installation actually happens. So I'm going to try running a few lines of code to actually update the versions inside. So another thing, I'm going to detect the container name. First, the container name. I already have it here, but still I can. And here it is, there you go, to look for it. So here it tells me the container name. It's root n8n terrorism1, and I actually have another container, which is this one. Okay, so here it's there are 2 containers, but the one I'm interested in is the first one. So the name, we'll use it later on. That's because sometimes you might have the name written differently on your server. That's why we need to go through the tables and detect the name. Now we're going to check the data volume. So here I select this. The volume is basically where the software is installed or the workflows. So here I click. It tells me, here you go, they're saved in a folder called n8n deriva data. So here, these are my details. So what I'm going to do is try to create a backup folder simply to save these workflows. If I ever do the update and there's a problem, if it wasn't installed correctly, I'll always have a folder on my computer that contains these workflows. I've called it n8n backup, and I'm going to add today's date because I might do several updates in a week. So now I'm preparing today's update, and Makdir is creating a folder here. So all you have to do is simply copy. Look, I go here, I'm going to paste, I hit enter. So now I've just created the folder. Once we've created the folder, what do we need? We need something completely normal to actually export the workflows into this folder. So look here at the export process. It starts first from our root by n8n because, as we have previously stated, each and every one is distinctly different and possesses its own unique and specific name. And in our comprehensive system here, we've successfully captured the name. There it is, clearly visible, because if you happen to have your very own personalized name, you simply need to carefully change it right here and then confidently put your own name in this designated spot. And now, at this precise moment, I'm simply going to meticulously copy this particular code and then just paste it directly here. I press enter. So now it promptly tells me there's actually an unfortunate error in the writing which needs immediate attention. It's not Tereba, it's Tereda 6. I'm actually leaving this example so you can understand. So that's why I'm telling you, here we really need to be careful with the writing. So here I'm actually leaving it in the video. The error is, so you understand what it's about, the class I'm going to make, I'm simply going to, we're just going to update this sentence, especially the name. There you go, so here it is. Okay, I did Tereda 6, okay, I managed to do it, let's try again. Key entry is being exported, that's good, so now we're thinking it through. I'm waiting for it to finish, so it created the folder, it's in the process of setting it up. And there you go, I have its workflow, which has actually been installed correctly, continuing on. Now we'll also need to export the keys and all the collections we've already made. We're also going to make a little backup for this, so always be careful here with the path. So when I come here, I'll actually put it in with the exact name and exact dash, and then I press enter. So now it's doing the same thing. There you go, it's saving. So export error if okay. So here it's telling me there are no clients, which is normal because this is a server without any workflow. Actually, there are only the 100 workflows that were offered for free by n8n. But here, actually, that's fine. In fact, I don't have any keys set up on my server, so that's completely normal, which tells me it didn't find any keys set up. But it's a very important step to do. If you've created connections between Gmail, your calendar, and all the tools you use, it's important to keep them here. So as for the content, so now I'm actually going to retrieve these files on my server. So it's the same process. Here, I'm careful with this, so I copy this line with the correct information. So now I come here, I paste, I press enter, and we've retrieved it. So that's good. The files have been copied successfully. It's 3 megabytes. There you go, all the files. And now I can actually check to see if the files are really there or not. So I run this command and there you go. I have the backup and today's date. So that proves the folder was created properly and everything is fine. Next, I'll look for that. Actually, the n8n container, this one, interests me because we're going to use it later. We're going to look for the name. There, I press enter. So the name is actually this one. There you go, root.trn1. So this one, we're going to write it here. So now I'm going to ask to run to see the current version that's on my system. So now I come here. And here, we're going to put it here. We said root n8n1. This allows me to get the current version. There, we have this version. So what I'm going to do is ask it to find for me what is the latest version it detected. So normally it should detect this version. We'll see if it manages to do it, because afterwards we'll have backup plans to force the download of the version we want. But this one actually should be more than enough. We'll try to test it. I'm starting it. So now it's searching. So what feedback did it give me? So download never image. Okay. So here it didn't show me the name. But we'll try to do another approach. We will endeavor to carefully copy this item, then proceed to come over here, meticulously paste it into position, and subsequently we will place it precisely at this designated spot. So we said 0.1 dot. So we come back here, 0.1. So it's as if we're going to force it actually to search for us, to go and download. Actually, this version, there you go. So we forced it, so as long as here, it still hasn't returned the exact name of the version. Here, I forced the system to download it for me. So here is the complete file. It's a 165 megabyte file. You'll see. We'll wait a little while for the download to finish so that we can, of course, check that the image has been downloaded properly. And then we'll simply install it. So once the version is downloaded, we're just going to check here to make sure it's actually there or not. So here is my version. It's installed perfectly. This is the reference or the code for this version. So what I'm going to do is I need to access a file called Docker Compose. Usually it's in the root directory. Look, if I do ls, there it is. It's right in my root directory. But if you have other types of versions, especially those installed on localhost, you can use this command if you want. It will allow you to search for this file on the server. It's a very important file. There you go, it tells me the path. After that, you can access this file simply by using cd. Just like that. You type cd and you copy this. You just copy it. I type cd to access it and I enter the path. And there you go, now I'm inside the folder that contains this file. Now, what am I going to do? I'm actually going to try to edit this file to force this version, which is version 2.1.1. So, to edit, we're going to use nano. Nano is a command that lets you edit a text file. Because in a way, YML is also a file that can be edited with nano. So now I'm inside the file, and what I'm going to do is, you'll see, I'm going to look for images. So the image, this one actually, the image at the n8n level. Look here. I'm going to try to add this text right where I'm going to force it. Actually the 2.1, 1.1.1, so that it actually uses this version that exists in my folder. So here we're going to force it here. So I'm going to move a little bit here using the keyboard arrows. And there you go, I have just successfully added that particular item. So in order to save my work, I can simply press the X key. Therefore, FNX is used to exit the current operation. And now it asks me if I want to save. I press Y for yes, then I hit enter. So now if I do nano again to edit, you'll see that the file is saved as expected. Just as I want, there you go. So now I exit, so we're going to quit now. So I won't save. Okay, now what are we going to do? We're going to stop the current container first, so we come here and stop it. So when I stop it, there will be no more activity on the server. That means if I come here and refresh the page, you'll see that it will just keep loading. Afterwards, it will give a 404 error because there will be nothing here on this server today. There you go. It will keep loading for a very long time. So what I'm going to do is continue. So I come back here and now I'm going to update. Actually, the Docker compose, so I copy this, and since I forced it to use the new version, so now it has just completed the installation properly. Now I'm going to restart the new version, so we click here. There you go, it has just been restarted, and now for the verdict. Now, we're actually going to check our current version in order to see if we have the specific new version of the application, 2.1.1. And there it is, I do have my version, so now I can delete. Actually the old Dockers. So I come here, I delete, I click yes. So now it's in the process of deleting. And so the job has just been successfully completed. So what we're going to do now is refresh our server. So we'll access it to check now if we have the correct version. And there you go then. The version has been successfully installed. So now you have version 2.1.1. You get it? So it's very important actually. This documentation that will guide you step by step. I'll make it available for you in the description and in our course support.